used to using my iPad.
Yeah, no worries.
Oh, that doesn't work.
Yeah.
All right.
I think that's what it's gonna be. How have you been?
Good, good. How are you?
Good, yeah. I feel like it's been a month since I've seen you.
At least year.
Grinding away, I suppose.
I know. Yeah, I have to do my thing. How are you?
I'm good, yeah. Same thing, yeah. Living life. Switching my brain between work and creative stuff.
Right, yeah. I love to hear it.
Yeah, very cool. Well, thank you,
nice.
of course, for joining. It looks like we have some
Yeah.
people joining. I see
Hashtag booty empowerment. Love that.
Hello, everyone. Thanks for joining. We have the lovely Jacinda. I really want to thank you for joining, and we'll kind of just get started. So, Who are you? I mean, I know you, but who are you, and what would you say is your brand?
Well, my name is Jacinda. Intuitive wellness coach and yoga instructor. And then my brand is underneath that is Urban Yoga, which is meant for BIPOC yoga. So people of color, just creating that inclusive environment for those who need it, Black and brown people, and of course people who support that movement too as well. So that's my brand. That's me.
Love it. Yeah. Yep. So yoga, intuitive coach. And what would you say about your platform or how you express yourself? How does that come from your own ability to express your uniqueness and individuality? Like, what about your brand or who you are, or rather, what about your brand shows who you are?
Well, I'm for the culture, you know, and that is kind of just wrapping everything that this society, you know, goes by. You know, is Black culture. Really, is where I see it. You know, that's where a lot of inspiration of things stem from. So I'm representing that in so many different ways, just by, you know, I love to dance, I love to do yoga, I love to express my sexuality and be free, you know, in doing so, and know that there's no boundaries. So that's how I express my brand. Is also bringing awareness, of course, like to those who feel like they're alone in the situation or feel like they're not being seen. And I feel like a lot of, you know, Black and brown people in the BIPOC community feel that way, or they're not properly represented, you know, or offered the same health benefits as others, you know, who are, you know, entitled. Have that privilege. So that's where I come from there.
Yeah. So it sounds like just celebrating and embracing who you are and recognizing that there are others.
Absolutely.
Maybe need that support, need that environment where you're able to help celebrate and appreciate them in a way that's safe and comfortable.
Of course. Yeah. I'm a big believer on intuition, so that intuition I definitely bring to the table, which is a little different than most, and just believing that gut feeling and not, you know, caring what outside opinions have to say about it, or even in our own subconscious, you know, those doubts and things that come up behind, you know, our thoughts, and feeling like we can't do what feels like impossible on the outside. So yeah.
And tell us a little bit more about that intuition. When did you start to tap into that intuition?
I think I've always been, even at a young age, tapped into that intuition, and it's always brought me into real places and like great opportunities, and brought me great friends, people who connect to who I am truly. And so for me, my intuition tapped in, you know, around about, you know, 13 or so, and I've started to get really creative in, you how I dress and how I represent myself. And I've also found a lot of that through dancing as well, because feeling is important, and with dancing, there's a lot of feeling involved. So, um, following, my heart more than my mind has definitely led me to greater places in my life. So as I started getting older, that, obviously gets affected, based on, who you're around, where you grow up, environment plays a huge role in it. And so at one point I kind of lost it, and I can definitely say now that I can see the difference in following your intuition and not, and which directions it can lead you down that you don't connect to. So I've been able to reconnect to that, even, moving down to San Diego, and finding beautiful friends like yourself, who uplift me and keep that light shining, and keep my intuition high. So I think that it's important that all of us tap into our intuition and enhance it. And there's so many different ways you could do that, getting outside, getting into nature, embracing your five senses, your six senses, and go out cooking, and see without, embrace the smells, go out when it's a sunny day, embrace the sun, embrace the air, and take a hot bath, take or a hot shower, and feel the stream, going down your body. Those things help enhance the intuition. Start reading, embrace that imagination, encourage dreams. They're so important in sending you messages that you may not see when you're living your everyday life and your everyday routines, and get out of that routine, sometimes do something different, go off the wall, travel. Maybe, you have a set schedule, do something different during that day. Maybe go grab your favorite coffee. Those things matter to enhance your intuition and follow your gut feelings, following your heart, and start to trust yourself and building that trust with yourself. So,
yeah, it sounds like turning towards yourself rather than running away. There's so
exactly
much that goes on in our society, figuring out what career you're going to have, who the people that you're going to have as your network,
right.
deciding for yourself what that life looks like. And sometimes we can get so wrapped into, okay, well, what is that supposed to look like, when our intuition's like, dude, I'll
Right.
tell you, like, just chill.
Right.
So
And
kind of get into that mindfulness that you're talking about.
oh, for sure. I think that, and even, we're, most of us may not even know our intuition is untapped or untouched, and maybe you're already in like a set schedule, or a set lifestyle. And so that's kind of where I come in and see where you're at in your life, and how we can get you to be your best self, living the life you're living, and kind of evaluate, your environment that you're surrounded by, your friends, your daily activities. What are you not doing that you love to do, to bring that out of you? Because most people don't really see that, their intuition is untapped, but they're having stressors, they're having triggers, they're overwhelmed, they're overthinking, and those things, the subjects that I touched on, matter in influencing those emotions that come up for most people, or why they may be struggling or being challenged to move forward in their lives, or feeling stuck. How do I even get out of this situation? And it does feel like, to some, and I felt this, where I feel like I don't know how I'm going to get out of the situation. I feel like it is what it is. There's always a way. Every day is an opportunity, and it's not about just getting there. It's about going step by step. One day at a time, one moment at a time, rather than shooting for level 10. If you're at a 5, let's get to 6. How can we get to 6 and move from there? Because it's those little things that create that big picture, that lifestyle, or the life that you want to live, or that healthy mentality that you want to have. So that It's huge for me. Even for me, it's on a small scale, doing those things little by little.
Yeah, yeah, definitely. I'm hearing being intentional, being mindful, being realistic in the sense of recognizing, okay, where am I now? Where do I want to go? And not only what's the next step forward, but more so, what's the best next step forward, so that I don't feel like I'm like it's straining. It's not. It's like
Right.
overwhelming. It's like okay, yeah, I see where I want to go. Okay, it's there. That's great. And like okay, next realistic step, so that I don't feel like I'm burning myself out, like you said. Especially if I'm already feeling that way. Like okay, let's like not feel
Exactly.
because
Because it's adding,
somewhat
something
manageable.
on. Yeah, it's adding something on. I feel like any type of therapy or coaching, um, or journey in health or wellness should never feel like a burden to you, or it's not meant for that. It's meant for healing. So
And it's
take
supposed to be a lifestyle.
right.
Really what it is.
Exactly, and it goes on forever. It doesn't, it's not a one stop shop. You go to, you try to you heal or find your way of healing. And you're like, okay, I did that thing, and I should be fine now. Like,
yeah, now I'm cured. All is well.
Right, we're constantly changing. We're constantly growing. And even when we find those new healthy habits or find those healthy actions that we're putting into our lives, sometimes things change, and that's okay. And so this is definitely, like you said, it's a lifestyle. It's something that you do every day, every year, every moment, and just having that intention in mind, that awareness in mind when these things happen, because life's always going to happen, whether things are going good or bad. So you definitely want to, it's really about limiting those triggers, limiting, the stressors, limiting the times that you get stuck, or even knowing that when you get stuck, you're more aware now, so that you're able to get out of those stuck feelings, you're able to get out of those thoughts, that are holding you back. You're able to move forward, because I do feel like everyone should feel that your feelings are valid. We're human. It's all part of the human experience. So we do need to go through things to understand them. But have your moment and get out of it, Have your moment and move forward from it. Have your moment, learn from it, dissect that. Yeah, it's like, okay, I'm feeling this way. I'm having my moment. I'm in my thoughts, or whatever the situation or challenge is, and start thinking about where that comes from. Where is this stemming from? Really dissect it. So when those happen again, you're able to avoid it or get through it, or understand it better. And put yourself in better situations, better mental, thought process to move forward and move onward. And so we got to help ourselves to be able to, obviously help others and have those healthy friendships and relationships in our lives, and have those healthy working environments, and, our fitness and health and wellness, like in creating those healthy habits, like we have to be able to help ourselves, and it's a trifecta where it's like now everyone is involved, and the world becomes a better place, and because I can't tell you the last time I even had, I guess, a drama. I can barely say it because I haven't, and all of that is really due to.
That's awesome.
Yeah, I mean, it is. It's just really due to the way that, I live, I carry myself, how I present myself to people, how kind I am to people, and that stems from how I'm treating myself. Everything that we do and say is a reflection of who we are, and and that it should be coming from a positive and heartfelt place, because the way we treat other people and the things we say to other people is a reflection of who we are and how we treat ourselves. So, I've been really getting into intuitive wellness, because I feel like that is a place where it's not talked about often, and I feel like that, I'm definitely with all the ways people can heal, absolutely. And that's where I kind of like want to be a part of that healing process is coming in with intuition and really diving deep to self and finding that peace. So that makes it easier when they go and they decide to, maybe talk to a therapist or a personal trainer, or maybe they want to start their own journey where it just makes it very practical, easier ways for them to kind of transition into that step to their lives.
Oof. Sounds like you're doing great.
Thanks.
Yeah, you can just feel the energy, and I know we're virtual. It feels very sincere and heartfelt in the sense that there's really no reason to struggle more than we have to, and recognizing that there are things that can be done. And so, why not start?
Yeah. We all have the answers within us. They just have to be brought out of us, and maybe we're not asking the right questions to ourselves, or and
that could be ready.
Right, not ready, exactly. You don't even know how to get ready, and so like you said, it's just about starting, and it's okay to ask for help. It's okay to find new perspectives, through people who care, people who want to help you heal and grow.
And I can definitely tell that you care, for sure.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah.
For sure.
So on that note, I guess what would you say is your vision for your art, your craft, your brand? Like, what do you envision happening?
I envision bringing together a community, bringing together people, and connecting with other people. And I feel like through that connection, we can find out a lot about ourselves and what we're going through, and know that there are other people who are going through things, or even on different levels, so that you can definitely have gratitude for even your situation. And that's really where I'm going with it, is building that community of healing and build that community of self-care, and touching one person at a time, and that in turn turning into 10 people to 100 people, and so on, to better ourselves, better our relationships, our friends, and family, and connections that we have with your neighbor, your stranger, and so that's where I'm going with it, and also to help push people to be their best selves, whatever that may be, and walk into the fear, that feeling, and being change and difference is always going to be a scary thing. I feel naturally, instinctively, intuitively, it is. But fear, it's the perspective of fear that needs to change. It's not always a bad thing. It could be a good thing, and I feel like we get fear and even excitement, confused, and and so we kind of back away just because it's a weird feeling. It's like getting butterflies, It's like, oh, I don't know about this, I feel like I should do this, but I'm not. And that one step going forward can change your life. Absolutely, can absolutely change your life, in the best way, obviously. So stepping into that fear, finding discovery within yourself and who you want to become and where you're going, and not necessarily just finding a purpose, but finding meaning within your life, your everyday life, because that is purpose. I feel like that's a hard question for people. It's like, oh, I don't really know what I want to do. I don't really know where this is going, or which direction I should go. And it's not about that. It's like, how can, on a day-to-day basis, create meaning into your life to where you're showing up better for yourself. And I feel like all those things will fall into place naturally. It's always fallen into place for me, and I want to share that with people, that it's that walking into the fear is okay, and going with your gut is okay, following your heart is okay, and we're better for it. We learn so much from it. We create experiences and memories in our life from it, that we could look back on as we're going into our journey, and it's like, man, like that was such a good feeling. I want to do this again. I want to keep going. And whether it be rituals in the morning or at night, or diving into a book, or maybe going to the beach or to the lake, wherever you are, or just outside for a walk. If the sun is outside, the rain's nice too. Feeling the natural
or snow for people in the Midwest.
Yeah, or snow. It's just feeling those natural elements. Really open your mind and close the thoughts out a little. It gives you peace to think consciously, really consciously, and rather your subconscious constantly running your mind, which in turn turns into your actions, which turn into your habits, which ultimately turn into who you are in life. So, that's really my vision, is to really open the mind of individuals, help them discover who they are truly, by following their heart, following, how they feel about things, their gut feeling, and being okay with it being different, and not, putting it on a scale, whether or not, like, oh, well, if I do this, then this, these people, then if I do this, then these people, and looking at you. It's you versus you, and it's your life at the end of the day, no one else's. So, really walking in the faith of yourself and who you truly want to be.
I love that. Walking in the faith of yourself.
Yeah.
All right, people, if you're here, get ready. Cinda's going to take it up. Have you walking into that fear?
Yeah.
Yeah.
For sure.
And just recognizing that fear is okay. It's okay to not know where we want to go, what we want to do, and also to embrace that you're still here. You're living life. And that alone is a beautiful thing.
Right. Absolutely. Definitely.
So again, go ahead. Sorry.
Oh, no, you're good. I was just agreeing. I was like, yeah that's exactly what I'm doing.
Well, it's like perfect, because on the next note, I was going to say, what is advice that you would have for aspiring artists, creative beings, people who maybe are overly consumed by that fear right now? What would be advice to them? And you've already given so much.
I know.
But like a one-hitter.
Just do it. Just start. Whichever direction your heart is telling you to go for it. Don't have try not to. I don't really want to say don't. It's a really aggressive word, but I encourage you to think outside the box and to rid of yourself from distractions, and whether that be social media, if that helps you be in a more creative space, do that. If it is, going outside, maybe even spending time with your friends and family, if that helps you get into a more creative space within your mind and freeze the thoughts up in your head, and you are able to think, and dive into those activities and actions so you can go for it. Whatever it takes for you to start, begin. Like that's whatever. So that's what I would say. As because I've already said so much, but just one piece of advice for sure. Is to just definitely just dive into that fear, and regardless of what you feel people may think, or know that is your subconscious holding you back, and our mind gets in the way sometimes, and we're in the way of ourselves. So right. So go with instinct. Go with that first thought. Go with what comes to mind right away, and run with it, and see where it takes you.
Yeah, I think oftentimes we get kind of stuck with, well, if I make this decision, all the what ifs. What will happen? What will people think?
It's the what ifs.
Yeah. What if I get it wrong? Like, what if I embarrass myself? It's like, yeah, that's gonna happen. We're human.
Yeah.
That's just part of life. And the beautiful thing about making a decision is that you're going to have more. So something that
You're
didn't
gonna have
go the
more.
way that you thought, okay, make another decision. Like life is going to
Exactly.
continue going.
Right.
Maybe it'll become scary if you're like,
Exactly.
okay, that was like edge, like that was too scary. Okay, now you know where that edge is. Come back a little bit, recalibrate.
Yeah. Seriously, you don't try it. I mean, like you said, you're gonna have more thoughts. So you'll be waiting forever if you find the perfect one. You're trying to find the perfect one. You'll be waiting forever. Or waiting to be ready. You'll be waiting forever.
Yeah.
It'll definitely never be enough. So you definitely have to continue thinking, doing, and not taking too much time in your mind, but going by what you feel is right at that moment and trying it out. And you never know where that will bring you to. And the more you trust your instinct, your intuition, and which direction you feel like you should go without the outside thoughts of the world, what society thinks, what you've seen, what it should happen, the more you'll get closer to who you are trying to become.
Ooh. So on that note, what are some challenges that you have encountered to get to where you are and this expression of who you are?
I think that I would say the challenges that I've been stuck. I know what it's like to overthink and not take action, and I do have my days where I'm like, what is happening right now? It's this whirlwind of change that I'm trying to adapt to, and one way I've just kind of found a way to get out of that is being aware when it happens. Like I've gotten to the point where I've like trained myself, like I know what's happening. And sometimes, obviously, sometimes there are, triggers or things that, make me get into places where I feel stuck. But that awareness helps me deal with it better the more it happens, or if it happens, to make sure I get out of it. Like, I'll say, for example, yesterday, I was so stuck. I was like, everything was a blur. I was like, what's happening right now? I have no idea, And I knew what was going on. I was like, okay, I'm like in a weird space. I just need, take it moment by moment, breathe, not allow, any negative thoughts or things that come to mind get to me and stop me. But I know that I need to feel in this moment. So next thing you know, next day, I'm like, okay, like, well, I gotta get up, gotta get going, like, right away, get my day started, like, it's gotta happen, and so that awareness helps me shift my perspective. It's when you're unaware, of what's going on that leaves you there longer, I feel like. So, having that awareness and feeling those feelings and know that it's not permanent, knowing that this is just how I'm feeling right now, just another human day, and yeah, like I'm allowing myself to feel today. I'm not gonna beat myself up for it, being compassionate to how I feel gets me right up and out of it, a lot quicker. And it took a while to do that. So I would continue to find ways to get out of my head, constantly. Whether that for me it's moving meditations, yoga, or meditating or journaling, or dancing or getting outside, listening to music, really getting the blockages out, being around people I care about, venting. So I have a list of ways now of how I get myself out of that by bringing that awareness to self. But yeah, I think that's the biggest challenge that it's really been. I've always been a really expressive and colorful person, and I've been blessed to find that at an early age. So, I ain't scared, so, because I'm not,
Yes.
so it's like, I'm a ball of color, so it's been like that at a young age. So for me, it was just bringing awareness to when I'm overwhelmed or overthinking or just feeling stuck, because I know that's not who I am. So I don't allow myself to be that person, or stay in that, stay in the motions, for too long.
I think about like in yoga when they say that's resistance. Like let's say we wake up earlier for a yoga class and we're like, gosh, I'm so sore. Like I'd rather be staying in my bed. The body's like, we're moving again. What's happening? And then after a while, all those limiting thoughts, those doubts, everything, even just the focus on that resistance starts to lighten. Because like, oh yeah, I'm just doing this. Maybe you're still sore at the end of the workout, or practice, but then eventually you're just not focused on it. The resistance lightens.
It's true. It works for sure.
Just gotta be patient.
Yeah.
Ride the waves, and also be aware when you're in that moment. What I heard you say was like slowing down to first just notice. Oh, okay. Like, firstly, what's going on? I feel heavier today, or there's more negativity circulating in my mind, or whatever that looks like. And then recognizing, okay, this is what's going on. This is how I feel. What are my options? I can self-soothe in a way that's healthy, that's productive, that's effective, and then following through on that and doing it.
Oh,
and being patient as the body adjusts.
Absolutely. We have so many negative thoughts that come into our mind, more than positive thoughts. And it's not necessarily about, changing who you are, but replacing, those thoughts with positive thoughts. Because changing is hard. That's a tough word. And I think change will come over time of you replacing thoughts that connect to you and connect to who you are. Rather than, I have to do this or else I'm gonna, not gonna do it.
It feels more forced.
Yeah. It feels more forced and it's really aggressive. It's much harder to change that way or make the change everlasting. So
slow and steady wins the race.
Right, slow and steady wins the race, moment by moment, for sure. So I've been really good at doing that naturally. And I also catch negative thoughts that come out of like even my boyfriend's mouth. I'm like, let's replace that with, let's do this. Or even, if it's even my mom, I'm like, that doesn't, let's replace that with this, because even like I said, who we surround ourselves with is definitely an effect on who we are and it's a reflection of who we are. So, if I have friends that even want to console me and like want to vent, I'm definitely there to help them get to a better mental state, because they're a reflection of who I am. And I would be doing myself a disservice by not helping, So, yeah, I mean, it's been a journey for sure. But I'm in a good space mentally and physically for sure. And like I said, just slow and steady and day by day, taking those extra steps to push myself to be the best that I can be and showing up for myself.
My heart. This just shows like how beautiful of a person you are. The intentionality behind everything that you do, and even my journey, and I know what it feels like. I know what it looks like, and being able to recognize that in others to say, you don't have to do this alone. Like there are people around you also care and will support you.
Right.
You also have to let those people in, and
Yeah.
also identify who those people are.
Yeah. Yeah.
I love it. I love it. Well, of course, I want to say thank you. I appreciate you tremendously. Not only for being on the show, but also just as a person. I'm really hoping that we can see each other offline.
I know.
Sooner than a month from now. Last time I
Yeah.
saw you, I think it was like, I don't know, 15 minutes, maybe 20.
I know.
Maybe
Yeah.
30. Fine, I'll give you 30 minutes.
Yeah. For sure.
But yeah, this has been really great. I really appreciate it. Of course, if you need any support from me, let me know. Yeah, anything else coming up for you in terms of what we've talked about? How you feeling?
Nothing so far. I think we covered a lot. I think that those of you watching can get a lot from watching the live, and a lot of you can relate to these things as well. And I mean, my last thought is to trust your intuition 100%. Follow your heart. It doesn't have to be 1, 2, 3. It could be 4, 8, 79. You can skip. Whatever you feel you're drawn to, go for that.
Yeah. I love it. Well, thank you everyone who joined today. Of course, if anyone wasn't able to come or you want to share it with a friend, I will post it momentarily. And again, thank you, Jacinta. I'm giving you like 2 weeks. I better see you in 5 or 3D, I guess. In 3D. I want to see you in person. 2 weeks.
Yeah, of course.
Okay, a month. I'll give you a month because I know we're both.
All right. For sure.
Awesome. Well, thank you again. And we'll chat soon.
All right. Sounds good. Later.